us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score, raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore, all for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Podcast fam, till the end, tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the show. It's the CanesWear podcast on the FTSN network, Finns Talk Sports Network. If you can say that fast 3 times, you're good. And you've got the CanesWear team of Bret and my co-host Bret today. And welcome to the show, Bret. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you're back in full form, right? You're fine. You're finally getting back healthy, man. So we missed you this past weekend in the opener. You know, you had to get well, but we got another dub, right? Miami Hurricanes won. Your Miami Dolphins won. Me and Cliff's Dallas Cowboys won. So I think all in all, man, it was a great weekend for football.
This is a perfect weekend for all of us. The 3 guys here won 4. You know, we went a combined 3-0. All of us were undefeated. It's a great season to start. You don't get any better. If we can drop the mic and just walk off right now, it'd be awesome. You know, it's like, hey, let's end the season right now. Everybody's in the playoffs. That's undefeated. Let's just do it like that. But Cliff, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How's everything doing in Pennsylvania?
It's going, buddy. It's nice and cool up here already, though.
Is it real? It was cool today here. I think it was 86.
Yeah, it's like 78, 80 during the day, and then at night it's like 55, 56, somewhere around there. So it's nice.
All right. Well, nothing will kill a show quicker than us talking about the weather, right? So, Bret, so we're here. Obviously, we're going to rehash the Canes game. I've got 2 of the Canes experts on, and Brad and Uncle Cliff. And exciting times. Brad, you said you came to the store. I wasn't there. I could tell it was going to be a big crowd. I can always tell it's going to be a big crowd. Hey, Dolph and Derek. And I can always tell it's going to be a big crowd when we're really busy. And we were really, really busy on the store on Friday and Saturday. It was crazy. It felt like an FSU game. So the Canes fans were pumped. And we know Coach Mario, all the players come out and support us. It wasn't a sold-out crowd, but I think it was the best crowd ever for the first game against FAMU. What do you think about that?
No, I think all in all, it was a great turnout. The fans definitely showed up. I think the overall number ended up being around like 56, 57,000, if I'm not mistaken, which was still a pretty good turnout for being FAMU. And you got to remember, the band didn't travel as well with FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
So the bands alone, you know, will definitely gravitate a lot more fans. And with them not being able to travel and still having that type of turnout, along with how we were able to play on the football field, I think all in all, it was a great weekend as a Miami Hurricane fan. I mean, what more can you ask for? Cam Ward went 20 of 26, 300+ yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and you beat FAMU single-handedly, and you get your backups in third, fourth quarter.
Exactly. Back-to-back games with 3 touchdowns, right, and 300 yards. Yeah. I think he's the first Hurricane quarterback to do that, right?
He might be. That's a stat that I don't know.
I thought I saw that somewhere. Plus he ran for a touchdown, and when he's leaping in the air with all our collective hearts are in our stomachs. We're like, don't get hurt, don't get hurt. It's like just he looked phenomenal. It was like you said, 6 touchdowns. He's spreading the ball around. And multiple receivers have caught the ball. I mean, X is catching it. George is catching it. Brown is catching it. He's got the tight ends in action with Arroyo and Lofton. There's nobody taking over. They're spread out, and I like to see this. What's your thoughts on that, Cliff?
Yeah, well, Williams had a nice catch and run too, where he leaped the guy. When I saw Cam run and I saw him jump, and I was like, I had to shut my eyes for a second and be like, please do not get hurt, dude. Yeah. We don't need that. But I thought, another impressive game by him. I thought, everybody looked really good again. I mean, I'm no complaints at all. I thought the offense looks a lot better, but I think that has a lot to do with we have a stud quarterback that we haven't had one of those like as good as him probably in 20 years. So, and maybe even before that.
I think with Cam Ward, that's just the true competitor that he is, right? I think he kind of said it in the presser in the interview after the game, where it's like, hey, if I'm in the football game, I'm going 100 or nothing, you know. So that's what you like to see out of a leader and a quarterback like that, taking no plays off, no matter what the scoreboard is or who the opponent is. But I think one of the things that stood out to me the most was probably the rushing game on both ends, the offense and the defense. First off, on the rushing, on the offensive side of the ball, you talk about, you know, Cam Ward being able to spread out the football in the air. But you look at this rushing attack, we've really been able to spread the ball around with guys like Damian Martinez being the only guy that gets over 10 carries and right under 100 yards. But then every other running back pretty much on the roster this past game averaged more than 5 yards a carry. So when you're able to tote the ball with pretty much any back like that and establish a running game, regardless who your offensive lineman is, that was another thing we haven't really mentioned. You know, the offensive line has been tweaked a little bit, you know, going into the second, third game. I think really what you're seeing is we're just trying to get some more of these quality guys that we know down the road of a football season that you're going to definitely want. You want those guys to have some game time experience under their belt. Why not rest some of these guys leading up into ACC play, which I think is a smart idea that they're going with. But, I mean, the rushing on the offense side of the ball, like I said, and then on the defensive side of the ball, you talk about a rushing team that only had 52 total rushing yards, and they had one run that was 29 or 30 yards. So that alone, more than half your rushing yards right there. So that's what you like to see out of a complete football team right there. We haven't even played a complete game on both sides of the football yet.
Exactly. And
It's true.
And FAMU was no slouch. They'd won, what, 13 in a row? And I don't care who you're playing. And if you're coaching in Pee Wee League, if you're coaching anywhere, winning 13 in a row is very difficult. I mean, so this was a real team. I mean, they're obviously solid. It looked like they have a good quarterback. They got Franklin, a running back. They got other players. It looks like they're solid. I mean, they definitely have nothing to hang their head on here. I thought they played well. They'll probably come back strong. But the Canes just took care of business. It was just nice, took care of business, and it was the running, the passing, utilizing all the weapons, the offensive line. I love when we can run on 3rd and 1s and things like that. I mean, it's you know, I thought the offense was excellent. What stood out for you with the defense?
Go ahead, Cliff.
I think the defense is just clicking on all cylinders. I mean, Barron is just, that guy is just unbelievable, man.
Amazing.
I mean, that dude is like unstoppable. And then
Reminds me of the guy from the Raiders, that the defensive lineman they have of the Raiders. All world.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome, Barron. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Crosby.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Crosby. That dude is that's a good. Those dudes are everywhere. And you got Mauano. I mean, even OJ in the backfield. He's a true freshman, bro. He's starting both games, and you don't hear his name called because no one's throwing on him. You know, he's playing great. Just the whole defense looks, and you know, they're just, everybody's coming together, hitting the guy. You know, you don't see one or two guys on the running back when he runs. You see like 6-7 guys coming in there and popping them. Like,
Correct.
There's no more like one guy misses and the guy gets 10-15 yards like, you know, a couple years ago. Now it's like 2 or 3 guys hitting them and another 2 or 3 guys coming ready to hit them if that messes up, you know.
They are
it's
swarming.
Swarming. Wes is having a coming out party. Wes looks, that interception he has, that's athletic as hell. I mean, that's an unbelievable interception.
Wesley Bassane and Jaden Harris were 2 players I think that most Hurricane fans can agree going into this football season.
Yeah.
Where this was kind of their year to really prove themselves and to prove to the fan base that they can really take that next step. And both of those guys have been monumental to this defense every single game so far. Both of those guys have been ball hawks all around the football. I mean, you mentioned Tyler Barron. I mean, Tyler Barron, for one, is a physical specimen. You know, Mario Cristobal quoted saying that he was built like an avatar, right? And when you see him in person, he really is like a physical specimen. You know, you brought up Crosby, Bret, but I think another guy that a lot of people, it's very easy to compare the two because they both went to Miami, is Jalen Phillips. I think he's really turning into that year of Jalen Phillips had at Miami that really, you know, propelled him to be that first-round pick.
Right. Good point. Excellent point.
Tyler Barron is really coming into that. You know, this is his 5th year, and he's already proved himself as far as on the football field. I think what he's time and time again, I think what people are going to start to understand with a guy like Tyler Barron, and he's he's being very vocal about it when you hear him in interviews, is a lot of the things that is allowing him to click better and just take that next level is just the maturity that he's taking off the football field, just being a year older, a year wiser, and just really taking every snap and every opportunity for granted. And sometimes just a new change of scenery and just a restart button and being around a program and a bunch of other guys that just want to win and are NFL caliber guys. I mean, that's really what will take a guy like Tyler Barron to the next level. And I think, young guys like Popo, Chase Smith, Malik Bryant, Darius Hayes. I mean, those guys are showing out when their opportunity is there as well. And Cameron Bobby Pruitt's another one. So, I mean, shout out to all those young guys, too, for stepping up.
Yeah, I was really impressed how well the young guys played. The real young kids played really well. And I know, like, it's FAMU. They're a good team, not an ACC caliber team, but they still have a lot of D1 players from other, schools that came in. Like we said, we had Thad Franklin's there. You got the quarterback is there. You got the kid that transferred from UCF, the wide receiver kid. They have good players. They might not have a ton of them. They have solid, power 4 players, and the young kids really impressed me. They played really well. And getting back real quick to the offense that we were talking about, and I didn't say that before, but both games, if you notice, Cam is thrown to 9 or 10 different people, like we said. We spread the ball around, like Brad said, but it's 9, 10 people are catching passes now. It's not like 5 or 6 people catching it. 9, 10 people, and we could probably go deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
It's awesome. What do we have? 4 tight ends have caught the ball this year. It's at least 4. What? McCormick, Lofton, Williams, and obviously Arroyo. Anybody else catch the ball as a tight end? I know we have 5, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we've already surpassed the all-time tight end yards for last season. Altogether, I think we
that was last year was on 14 anomaly.
What were we like after game 1? I think we were 2 catches shy of last year's total. Before going into
Williams caught that in the first. Last year was just very strange how the tight ends just disappeared. I know Arroyo was hurt, but Williams was. Just was very strange. We came out of being the tight end U, and just it was strange. But I'm glad that season is over with. And we're back. I think the big thing is the culture this year. The culture, to me, you can tell it's changed. We had the guys last year. It was the first few games of the season. It looked like the culture was there. There were gang tackling, swarming all over the field. They were not missing tackles. They were not dropping balls. They were not getting dumb penalties. And then for whatever reason, it fell apart. Probably in the Georgia Tech game, but maybe the week before. But this team, it seems like they are just focused on one thing. They all expect to win. And I think Cam is the leader of the offense, maybe the leader of the whole team. I know offense and defense is different leaders, but there's just something special going on right now. I know it's only 2 games, and people say to me all the time, Bret, this is the year. They're going to run the table. They're going to run the table. We're going to win a bowl game. We're going to win national champion. Okay, let's hold on a minute. We've won 2 games, but right now they're doing everything right. Okay, we're
going in the right direction. That's for sure.
They're not taking any opportunity for granted, and I think that the other good thing is that we're not only winning our football games, but we're beating the opponents by what we should. We're not playing down to our competition. And then on top of that, I think all in all is there's still a lot of meat left on the bone. Like we have not had a plus performance on both sides of the football and special teams clicking all at once. We've never had the offense just look immaculate elite where there's just no issues, or the defense have no issues, right? We still haven't had that game yet. And we're still seeing the opportunities there, and we're still seeing the progress. I don't know about you guys. I know it's only been 2 games in, but one particular player that I do want to see more from is Sam Brown Jr. He's a wide receiver we got transferred in from Houston. And if you look at the amount of targets compared to every other wide receiver on this roster, he's tied for first, but yet the amount of catches that he has compared to other guys and the amount of yards is almost half of what some of these other guys. And I think the battle between him and Isaiah Horton, I think these next 2 weeks, Ball State, USF, I really want to see if Sam Brown can take that next step and be more consistent, or if Isaiah Horton can really just continue to be that guy for us. Because I think by ACC play, Virginia Tech, and others, you really need to figure out who that third wide receiver is. What's y'all's thoughts?
That's a great point on two of the things you said. Not playing down to the competition, because we know the last 4 or 5 years, we might go into the game versus FAMU, and at halftime, it might be 17-7 or something, or 21-10 or something. We're like, oh shit, what the hell's going on? This time we came out and dominated them right from the start. I think we had one of our fastest first quarter touchdowns in a long, like 10 years or something like that. We scored quick, and we suffocated them right from the beginning. And I was going to mention this kid too, that he's not playing. Brown's not playing as good as I expected him to play. But I think, it's also, first 2 games, got to give him another game or 2 to see, and then, iron that out. But I was thinking the same thing, because he does have a lot of targets, so.
I was happy to see Chris Johnson get the ball, a couple of times, and then him score a touchdown. Last year, he had that amazing run early in the season, and we didn't see him again for whatever reason. He's the kind of guy that if we can get him the ball out in space or in some reverses or so, one play can make a difference. So I'd love to see him getting more opportunities. Mario said it's going to happen, so hopefully they do, because he's different than the other backs. I think he's just a flat-out burner, and that would be great. What's your thoughts on him?
Nah, I agree for sure. I think without having a good stable running backs, I think we've already understand and learned as Hurricane fans throughout a football season that you need bodies there, and you need quality guys. And I think Chris Johnson was one of those kids, especially last year as a true freshman. He just needed to get acclimated to college football and get about 10 to 15 quality, muscle on him as far as weight, to really get acclimated to those hard hits, similar to Ray Armstrong, Ray as well, Ray Joseph. So I think between those 2 guys, they're going to get a lot more burn and touches throughout the football season. I think right now they're trying to find that good, sweet balance between the running and the passing game, which it seems like it's really 50-50 right now when you really look at it stats-wise, touchdown-wise, and just, the amount of plays that they're running. They've really hit it, down the middle, and it seems like everything's humming. And like I mentioned before, there's still a lot of meat left on the bone.
Absolutely. No, so it's all progressing well. Coaching, I think, is going great. Everyone, is standing out. Defense, offense. What about special teams? What have you seen there?
I don't know about you guys, but I think special teams could get a little bit better. I think there was a few opportunities with, one missed block here and there that I really could have, I think, broke one of those 2 kickoff or punt returns. I also think at the same time there were some opportunities, not only on special teams, but also in the running game, where you just need to bounce it out to the outside and trust your speed, because there were a couple times where if you would have just bounced that out to the outside, you probably would have gone the distance. But I think all in all, we're doing good. Want to see a little bit more consistency from the kicking game, but I think as the opportunities get there, I think we'll see that. But I don't think you can complain so far with only 2 games.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at least, like I said, at least we're catching the ball on punt returns and stuff like that. None of that. But yeah, Brad's right. I would like to see a little bit more out of the return game, kickoff and punts. But I said,
for the last several years, it seems like we give up a lot more scores than we get. It seems like big plays and everything like that. So right now, even with other teams, it's pretty good. We'll see how as the season goes along. What do you guys know about Ball State?
It's a program that's bringing back a quarterback that's, a veteran type of guy. They got a big, bulky offensive line, very similar to Miami, where they really trust their trenches as far as the offensive side of the ball. They got a couple playmakers that will help them, but all in all, it's Ball State versus Miami, man. It's a MAC team. I know they were hyped last week because the conference as a whole kind of did their part, but this is another week, another opportunity for Miami to get better. And it's another team that Miami, unfortunately, is going to knock off another undefeated opponent. We have yet to play a team that hasn't lost. And when they play Miami, they end up losing. So I like the consistency. I think by third, fourth quarter, again, you'll start to see your second, third stringers. But hey, man, Ball State, best of luck to you. But I would bet maybe less than 14 points.
Yeah, I know that their offensive line as a whole has over 100 career starts. I know that.
Wow.
So I'm sure they're going to try to pound the ball a lot because that's their, bread and butter, like Brad said. So I'm sure with that, that much experience on the offensive line, they're definitely going to be trying to do that. Other than that, like I said, wish them luck.
And I just hope the fans turn out again. I'd like to see 50,000 plus, not just for business, but for obviously for the players. I mean, a lot of these guys, it's their last year. You got X and Ward. They're not going to. Several players. How many players are actually possibly going to move on this year? Not talking about kids that may transfer. How many players do you think could go to the NFL this year?
You got 10 plus guys. You got 10
I was
plus guys that will get
dudes.
drafted this year. 10 plus will get drafted.
This could be our best draft class in a long time.
Well,
yeah.
The biggest thing we always said, we don't spend money, we don't have players, we don't have coaching. Now they're spending money on players, which is obviously now. We're paying coaches. I mean, get your butt in the stands and go to a game. Some of these games aren't, especially this game. You can get cheap tickets to these games. There's no reason why you shouldn't be going to these games.
Exactly, and as a fan when you go out to the games and everything like that, you want to see all the fans there, and the players deserve it. They're playing great. I mean, we may have the Heisman Trophy, obviously a Heisman Trophy candidate with Cam Ward. He's got to be, right now he's probably be a top 5 guy. So and everybody's talking about watching the USF game against Alabama, and they're talking about, and USF has got another top team, the Miami Hurricanes, the powerful Miami, and they are just touting us so much. Everybody is touting us as like we're Alabama or Georgia, that type of team.
Yeah,
and it's a little scary when they do that, but it's been a while since they've done that. So how do you feel about that when you hear all those games as announcers talking about Miami, like Miami's back, or just how good we are? How does that make you guys feel?
I mean, I think it's well deserved. I think it's something that as Miami fans, we need to enjoy and appreciate it as we live in the moment, because you're only going to get Cam Ward for 1 year. And I don't think you're going to be able to get a quarterback like Cam Ward very often. And I think us Miami fans, I've been alive for 31 years, and I know for a fact I have never seen a Hurricane quarterback with the caliber, the talent, the moxie, pretty much everything all in one package, right? I think throughout my lifetime, there's always been one thing that you wish you could take from a different quarterback in every, 4 or 5 years from Miami and kind of combine them all together, right? Cam Ward's the first guy where it's like you kind of got everything, and you got to ride the wave and enjoy it. And I think the great thing is you got a leader at Mario Cristobal that understands the opportunity. He's been here before with Oregon, FIU, as far as rebuilding a program from scratch. He's been able to have a big-time quarterback like Herbert and take them to the distance. And you see what he's been able to, group together with this transfer portal class this past year. You combine that with the guys already on the team and then the love of these coaches on staff, man, I think we've really hit a home run, and I think this could be the year of something special.
That's a good point. I was thinking about that before. Brad, you're probably the most knowledgeable guy out there on Canes football. Maybe you know this one, Cliff, because you're knowledgeable as well, of course. But what percentage of our team is that we've recruits versus transfer portal? Has anyone figured that out?
Recruits versus transfer portal, we're probably like 60-40 right now.
60-40 for people that we've recruited. Yeah. Transfer higher?
Yeah. So 60 is recruiting, 40 is transfer right now, I would say, on the roster.
Yeah.
And the percentage of the starters are the key players. We have, it's hard to say who's a starter, but
it's probably around 50-50, I would say, on that one.
All right. Well, that's solid. In this day and age, you have to do that. We know that in Clemson, Dabo is not really caring about the transfer portal. Other coaches were late on that. It's one thing about Manny. He really got on that transfer portal right away. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, we don't want to talk about Manny," but with Jalen Phillips and others, we got some great players on the transfer portal, and Mario just took it to the next level. I think some people were concerned, will Mario get the transfers? But he is.
The key with relying with the transfer portal guys, especially if you have that year where you hit big, you still have to make sure you develop the other guys on your roster, and you also recruit well year in and year out. And that was the big drop off in the deficit you're seeing quickly with Florida State, right? Mm-hmm. They had that one magical year, but Mike Norvell's been there for 5 years, and that magical year last year still didn't end up in the result that you wanted. And Mario is only in year 3 at this program. And I don't know about you guys, but this roster right now and this team, looks a lot better than that Florida State team last year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I agree.
On offense, what do we have? We have obviously Ward, we have Martinez, and we have Brown, right? Is anybody else from the portal starting?
Zach Carpenter.
Oh, Carpenter. Yeah. So 4.
Yeah.
But on defense, yeah, that's 4 on offense. Defense has a little bit more, I think, with Powell and Barron and guys like that.
Mainoa is a transfer portal guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to count him for this year, even though he was here last year.
That's another thing. Like a guy like him, is that a portal guy? Or, I mean, he was
correct.
But still, it's But yeah,
no, and getting portal guys to come back another year is even better. A lot of times, nowadays, once a guy jumps, now he's obviously got his family here and everything, his brother. But once a guy jumps to one school, a lot of times he can jump to another school. He could be at 5 schools in 5 years now. I mean, that is a little crazy how they can do that. But it's exciting that it seems like the players want to stay here. It seems like the culture is there, which is huge. We're all excited about the culture. It's just a great thing right now to be a Hurricane fan, and hopefully the fans appreciate it, because I know for years they were saying, "Oh, I don't care if we win the ACC. We're a national championship team or bust." Well, let's win the ACC. Let's start off there.
I'm with you on that. Speaking of being set up and feeling good, right? I think if you're a quarterback in the NFL, those contracts that these guys are getting nowadays, Bret, are absolutely ridiculous. And I know your quarterback at the Dolphins, my quarterback at the Cowboys, they got 2 of the biggest contracts in the NFL. Exactly. And Dak recently got paid the highest contract in the NFL right before week 1 kickoff. And me being a Cowboy fan, Cliff, who just dropped off, who will be back shortly, who's a Cowboy fan as well, I'll hear his stance, but I'm a guy, I've never really been on the Dak Prescott bandwagon. I've never really been on the Jerry Jones bandwagon. I am one of the realest Dallas Cowboy fans you will come across, where I'm not a guy that is going to cheer up and down because we look like one of the best NFL teams week 1. I know how this works. We are going to look like a good regular season team, and then once it gets closer to the playoffs, we are going to deteriorate and disappear like we usually do. And these contracts that some of these guys are getting, like that, I don't know about you, Bret, but we can dig deep into this. But there are other quarterbacks out there that I think you get for half the price. Absolutely. And the value and what you're getting for on the football field will be exactly the same.
You just have to look at Watson. I mean, that was the first guaranteed contract, really, and everybody thought it was crazy. Now Cleveland's trying to figure out how can we get rid of this guy. I mean, it's like, I was surprised. I watched that game. They kept him in like 3 minutes left. He's getting beaten up. It's like, okay, do they want him to just not be playing anymore? They went through 4 quarterbacks last year, and they were still competitive, which is the thing. If you have a good nucleus, good team, I mean, leadership is everything. Sometimes you have a great athlete, but he's not the leader of the team. But yeah, I think we missed our calling. Quarterbacks right now, these guaranteed contracts, a lot of other positions. It's phenomenal. Between what I mentioned to you earlier, Brad, between both Tua and Dak, they're getting like $500 million guaranteed, right? Like $260. It's crazy the amount of money. And you're right. For that money, how many playoffs games has Dak won? How many playoff games has Tua won? Has Dak won one playoff game?
Tua has won what? 1?
None.
And I think Dak has won 1. So Tua hasn't won any.
Yeah, and he's only been 2 years in the playoffs. Dak's been in there a lot.
So he's been, and Tua's had how many appearances in the playoffs?
2 playoff appearances.
So
he was hurting. No, he was hurting the game. He's only played 1 against Kansas City. He was hurting the game against.
So they're 1-5.
Yeah,
between the 2, 1-5. You want to talk about other guys that are getting paid a quarter or a third of what these guys are, with way more, wins under their belt as playoff wins. You're talking about guys like Brock Purdy at the 49ers.
He's still
talking about Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Gordon Minshew, Chad Henne, Baker Mayfield, like Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota. All these guys have more playoff wins than Dak Prescott and Tua. Like, that is wild. Mondo, absolutely. What's up, man?
Look at that. We had Cliff there, Mondo. I expected Cliff to pop up there, and it's like, whoa, the switcheroo, the old switcheroo.
I'm a much better looking guy than Clifford. Come on, baby.
There you go. Mondo, how you doing, buddy?
Good evening. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Give us your thoughts on the game.
It's a privilege to join the CanesWear.com podcast.
Yeah.
What's going on here, man?
I'm a Dolphin. Bobby's a Dolphin who's overseeing and running the show. The other guys are Cowboys, and of course, you're an Eagle. How'd your team do?
I'm actually happy that the Cowboys, for once, because I took Cowboys +3 and half. Let me tell you something. The Browns were missing their tackles in the game, but regardless, Deshaun Watson looks like a shell of himself.
He doesn't want to be there.
I mean, obviously, he's getting paid a stack of money, but he doesn't even resemble the player that his last couple of years with the Texans. He was an absolute stud, top 5 elite quarterback, and he's done. He just doesn't look. I don't know, man.
But you see, at what point you have so much money, you don't have to care anymore. That's the problem with any guaranteed contract in any sport. You don't have to care anymore. It's like, you don't play well. Who cares?
The crazy thing is,
check.
Yeah, the crazy thing is late last year when they brought Flacco off his couch, you saw guys like Njoku blow up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Deshaun, I want to see a few more games, but Watson just looks, ew, man.
Dolphin fans wanted.
Unfortunately, I think
we want him. I said no, we don't.
No, good thing for the Dolphins.
I think unfortunately with the Watson Browns thing, I think Watson kind of dug himself in a hole with all the things that happened off the field to the point where it was really the Cleveland Browns that gave him that last shot and opportunity and then overpaid for him to where now they're going to just ride with this guy till the wheels fall off because at this point, they've already paid him all this money and it seems like he's got legal problems again going on. And it's like, look, man, we were in your corner. Now you're going to have to just ride it out in our corner. And if you end up screwing up, that's on you. And we'll ride it how we got to. I mean, it seems like they're going to be the Cleveland Browns of old Cleveland Browns anyways.
Yeah, I'll definitely want to talk about the Canes, obviously, in a second because I was at the game. But I will say, keeping it in that division, what on earth was that by the Bengals on Sunday? I mean, I give New England credit. They were playing hard for the new coach, Jared Mayo, et cetera. But you lose at home? What? I can't figure that. I still can't figure it out 3 days later.
I wonder if the Jamar Chase thing is throwing the team off. Everybody else got their money. He didn't get his money. And you know what? And he's not happy. If you have someone on the team that's not into it, it's going to blow up the whole team. And that's what I think it could be.
But even then, 10 points at home against New England's crazy. But I will say I was at the game and, the crowd was lively. From the moment I got there a little late because I had some stuff going on. I got there about 5:30 and walking up, I looked around in the parking lot and, you're usually yearly you play FAMU. You're like, all right, the crowd won't be into it. Well, no, they were into it from the first play of the game, the interception, et cetera. I thought the crowd was excellent. So hopefully it continues all season long.
Yeah, the team has had, even when they were in the Orange Bowl, people think we'd sell at the Orange Bowl. In the 80s, 90s, the greatest teams, the 80s, the 90s, and in 2000, we get 30,000 people for a game at times. So it's not like they were ever drawing, unless it was a big game. There's a big game town. But so that's why I'm glad to see the over 50,000 fans for FAMU. Hopefully we have a big crowd for Ball State. And I know for a fact we've got a big crowd traveling to USF.
And then
everybody's telling me they're going to USF.
Yeah, right after that on Friday night, the ACC opener against VT. That's going to be good. That's going to be a fun night.
We've got some. There's no buy-in between those two games, right?
Yeah. All right, Brad. I'll see you
there. Hey, Brad, did you?
Yeah. Well, I'll see you Friday night.
Hey, I wanted to come down for that game, but I can't. It's my daughter's senior night up here, so I'll be for Florida State though.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing you, Cliff.
How was the tailgate for this?
That Cal game? That Cal game is getting more interesting now with them beating Auburn too.
Yeah,
the ACC is playing very well. I wish they would just get it together, pay these teams what they need to, and keep the conference going. I think it'll be a terrible thing for college football to start getting rid of the conferences. The ACC is there. Let the ACC stay. It's all about money, isn't it? We have a terrible deal with ESPN, and we can't renegotiate the deal. So they'd rather these teams move to the SEC and the Big Ten. Makes no sense whatsoever. ESPN makes all that money.
It's
pay
all
our
about
teams.
money.
So we're on the same. We're what? The Hurricanes get less than 20 million a year, and the Gators get like 50 or 60 million. Isn't it something like that?
Yeah, it's essentially just like in the NFL. It's literally like an AFC NFC thing now. That's
Mhm.
basically. It was so weird. It was a cool matchup, but it was so odd to see Texas at Michigan and Ann Arbor. That was strange.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You're right.
That's just how it is now. That's just how it is. What it is.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that that's the first time they've ever played those two teams ever.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Wow.
I think I heard that right before the game. They said that this is the first time those two teams ever played, which is wild. But
it does make it interesting. Us going to California, you know, it's a little different. We're not usually going over there. We haven't played California in forever. I think if we have played California, I don't remember. We played UCLA. We haven't played USC in a long. I don't know. Remember the last time we played USC, and we opened with them in a couple of years now, don't we?
long time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's a cool thing. So that game was that game. They didn't say where that game is. That's at a neutral site. The Miami USC game of years.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, yeah, I do know that next year here at home we got Florida and Notre Dame, so next year's home schedule is going to be nice.
That'll be nice when we go to Florida State, and we have Stanford.
So
we go to Stanford next year too, or Stanford comes here.
I'm not sure.
I think we're playing Stanford, right? I mean, who knows with all the we got SMU, right? We got California added, we got Stanford added, and who else was added to the ACC?
No, they just those three.
Just those three. Okay, so
SMU's been a bit of a surprise on the negative side. I saw them play against Nevada. They looked listless, and they won, and now they lost. It's a BYU, right?
Disappointing for sure.
They're not playing right. I'm not sure what's going on with SMU.
And they've still got. Do they still have quite a bit of ex-Canes on that team?
Yeah,
yeah,
6 or 7 of them.
I think their running backfield is all Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, Rooster.
So.
Yeah.
Our running backs are all over the country now. We got them.
I believe we play at SMU next year too.
Next year, that's okay.
They already
play SMU next year.
They already bench Preston Stone at SMU. He's not even the quarterback now. They won't.
Really?
Nope.
Speaking of quarterbacks, how's our former quarterback doing?
Preston
Tyler
Stone,
Van Dyke up in Wisconsin.
1 touchdown, no interceptions, I think, in 2 games.
I think he's running into the same troubles. Yeah, he's running into the same troubles. I don't think he's doing as bad as Jake Garcia, the other former Miami quarterback. He's leading college football with most interceptions.
He threw 4 interceptions last game.
Great. I mean, great family. Both of them are great families and everything like that. The tough thing about this, you get to know people, you get to be friends with them, you know, and you care about the kids. And, you know, it's not like the fans on social media that are just ripping people because they're just unhappy with their lives or whatever it is. I hate to say it. You know, if you're ripping a player, you know, you got to look in the mirror. You know, but you got to feel for these kids. But some kids have it, some kids don't. I can't even blame the kid. I couldn't even blame Tyler Van Dyke last year. I blame Mario. It's like, if you know he can't play, then why is he playing? I mean, that's on the coach, the CEO. I mean, if I got someone with a broken finger, I'm not putting it on the register. Especially
with all those fans coming in there for gear last week.
Exactly. So speaking of gear, there's only one place to get your Canes gear. It's CanesWear. You know, we got a lot of new stuff coming in. We got our slides, our nice slides coming that just came in. Awesome. We got a bunch of new shirts this coming week. Just came in. We got new shirts coming in. We still got that. They got the later Gator shirt. If anyone that went to that game or anyone that's proud of that 41-17 victory, that's a great memento. Lots of other great items that are coming in. Jeff is going crazy every day. He says, "Why do we have more coming in?" But we do. And this is it. When you're winning, what we sell is like a drug. It's like people have to have more and more and more, which is great because. Listen, we all got tough lives at times. We got the wife, the kids, the husband, the job, the boss, the dog, the cat, whatever you got. Okay. But when your team is winning, you feel like $1 million.
Let me tell you something. It's funny you mentioned that because I've had a couple of years now. I renewed. I got 2 season tickets. I got the same seats again this year. My oldest son wanted to go this past week. So I had to scrounge around for a 3rd ticket. Now, all of a sudden, long story short, another family member wants a season ticket all of a sudden. So winning, just all of a sudden, they're coming out of the woodworks here.
Exactly.
So we're going to have a whole sections of Mondoites, I guess. I don't know what the hell's going on.
You're going to have one of those big sections. I remember we beat Notre Dame, or we played Notre Dame in 2017, and I had a line wrapped around the block, turnover chain, everything. And I'm asking people, have you been to the store before? No, I haven't bought a cane item in like 10 years, but I'm back now. They were back for 2 weeks and then they left, obviously, because we weren't relevant.
I went to countless games in the Orange Bowl, as you can imagine. And let me tell you something. That 2017 game against Notre Dame at Hard Rock, I would put it on par with any Miami FSU game in the Orange Bowl, any Miami Oklahoma Natty game. It was that loud. It was crazy. I'm telling you, it was crazy.
Top 3 games I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
No, the stadium with the corners and everything like that, it's awesome. So right now we're 2-0, guys. We play Ball State. Does anybody remember? Anybody look at the tape? I was 55-21, I think I was. Who was the closest? Brad, were you able to knock it again? I think you were like 75 to something, right?
No, mine was 63-13 was my prediction.
All right, it was close.
I said 45-13.
45-13?
I said
all right, so what are we feeling about Ball State, guys? What are some predictions?
I heard Mario say on Monday on his weekly 560 spot that Ball State has a very good offensive line, etc. But I'll say this, the way our offense is looking, I know I get it, Florida A&M and UF aren't exactly the 85 Bears defensively, but our offense is humming. This quarterback is what we've been waiting for years and years. It's that simple. So I like us against anybody right now. Our offense is that good. This man is that good at quarterback. So
yep.
You want to ask me for a score? I'll say 47-17. How's that?
All right. What do you got, Brad?
55-10, Canes.
You didn't have to think about that. Cliff?
I say 52-17.
All right, so we got 47-17, 52-17, 55-10. I'm going to go 48-14. So we'll see who's closest. Whoever wins.
I guess we're taking the over. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Exactly. One other thing about quarterbacks, we obviously got a chance to see Poffenberger for a little bit of action. He was 6 of 7, obviously all short passes. I heard some people saying, a couple of tweets and things. Obviously, he's not Cam, but he's coming in for mop-up duty and everything like that. I've heard a lot of good things about him in practices. What do we know about him since he's the guy that would probably step in if need to be? What do we know? And he's possibly right now the leader in the pack to lead the team next year. So what's your thoughts on him, guys? Not everybody at once.
I mean, it's a young man from Albany. Young man from Albany that's got 2 or 3 years more of experience to go. I think this was a good opportunity for him to just get to play some Division I college football at an ACC powerhouse, of Miami Hurricanes caliber. I think when you look at the opportunities he had, there wasn't really too much he could do. I think a lot of it wasn't necessarily on him. There was a couple blown assignments on the offensive line. Left tackle gave up a very easy sack to where, Reese, was pretty much screwed from the beginning. Those are things you're going to want to clean up. But looking into the future, this is just personal opinion. I think next year's starting quarterback is not on this roster. And I also feel like that if we got into a critical pinch where we need to win the football game, and for some reason Cam Ward's not in at quarterback, I don't is the quarter in. I think it would be Emory Williams. Really? I think this is me, all personal opinions. I think there is a plan set kind of similar to how Ja'Cory Brown was supposed to plan last year, where you were pretty much going to redshirt all year, and there were going to be opportunities to put you in a game where you could still get those 4 games and be a difference maker in those opportunities, where I think they're going to try and do that with Emory Williams this year. I think there might be 2 or 3 games where you want to throw Emory Williams in to see, how he progresses and how he, establishes in himself being that second guy. Because I think last year he was thrown in the fire and he really did his job, in my opinion. So I think all in all, Emory Williams is your number 2 quarterback. If there is a big time opportunity that needs to be there, I think they're just putting Reese in there now to get some, reps under him. And then this is my personal hot take. Quarterback for next year is not on the roster.
Interesting. Interesting. Good call. You guys, any thoughts on that?
I agree with Brad for sure.
All right. That's good. That's what I don't
think he's on the roster. And if it's a for sure thing that, God forbid, if Ward goes down, Williams will be the starter. It's not going to be.
No. So if Ward didn't come, if he decided I'm going to go to the NFL, I'm going to go try to play on Sundays, would we have a different quarterback in there, or would we be going with 3? We'd have Ja'Cory, who would still be here as well, obviously. We'd have 3 quarterbacks probably, right? Or would we have a different quarterback?
forget the quarterback, you would have a completely different football team. You wouldn't have Damian Martinez. You wouldn't have Sam Brown. You wouldn't have Mish Powell. You wouldn't have Tyler Barron. You wouldn't have Simeon Barrow. You wouldn't have most of these guys. All these guys came because Cam Ward was the first guy to bring the domino down. And I said this from the beginning when the day that Washington State played their final game, you could go look up my tweet. I said Cam Ward would look good in a Miami Hurricane uniform.
You told me he was locked in.
The final game he had at Washington State. And from that day, my hashtag was stand on business. And from that day, I said Cam Ward would be the quarterback for the University of Miami. And every single week where it was in and out, would it be Florida State? Would he go to the NFL? I was right there with the Miami staff. It was Cam Ward or bust. And I feel like if we did not get Cam Ward, this team would be just like Florida State and Florida this year. And that was a big reason why we got Cam Ward.
Brad just dropped the mic, and going forward now across the country, other possible future transfer portal QBs are seeing this. Now Miami looks just like those Florida recruits that were sitting in the end zone when Brad was up at the game. Oh, Miami's a problem now. Miami isn't what they were 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago now. And like to Brad's point, and we'll see going forward next year who the quarterback is. But now if you're a portal guy next year and Miami comes calling, you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to be very interested to see what they have to say, right? So that sign, that Ward being here is absolutely huge on so many levels and fronts, obviously.
Yeah. Winning breeds winning. And, you're right. You get a quarterback, then you get another quarterback, and then you get, I want to come play for Miami, especially if we win. So 100%. I always thought, okay, you're not playing well. All the guys want to go there, but no, they want to go to the winning programs now. Absolutely. It's a great point, Brad. So I'm going to give you the credit for making him come. Because I remember you did tell me that way back when as well.
Yeah,
he did. A little iffy when he said he was going to the NFL. Thankfully, he didn't. He probably would have been a third or fourth round draft pick, unless he did amazing.
He was projected second or third round pick. He decided he betted on himself to be a first rounder this year.
Yeah, and it's so I think we were very lucky to get him, and we just got to ride it and hopefully keep our fingers crossed. So guys, I appreciate it. Anybody have anything besides me jumping up and down, or anything last things to add to the show? I'm sitting there.
This dude's so excited about Canes football, I can't stay in his seat.
Exactly.
No, I mean, Bret is selling so much merchandise. You see, he's like giddy in the chair right now. He's jumping up.
Let's go. We just got actually, since we do have the Cam Ward. We're close with the family, and we are doing we've done the football jerseys done really well. His parents were in the store. His dad was in the store this weekend with the family. And we're coming out. We have the Cam Ward basketball jerseys. We're making a Cam Ward baseball jersey now. The orange one that you have, Mondo? We're going to be putting number 1 and Ward on the back of those. So those are really cool. The V-neck.
Do I just throw my cash at you from here?
There you go. So that's going to be new. So it's we're blessed to have the working with the Ward family, wonderful family, and they made some requests. So we're excited to get those things going. It's great because you don't see it in my background right now because I don't have but we've got the Cam Ward stuff, lots of cool stuff in there. We do have, remember, at CanesWear Dolphins stuff. Florida Panthers start up in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah,
2 weeks, right?
Season. Yeah.
Is anybody, Brad? Were you following the Panthers this year?
Yes, obviously. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Panthers fan for sure.
All right, Mondo's a Panthers fan. Cliff, I know not a big everybody's
Panthers.
A Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Now Florida follows winners, and the Panthers. Hopefully, they broke the door, they broke the wall down, and now we can have other teams winning in South Florida, especially the Canes. So,
well, you got Thursday night, you got Dolphins Bills in 2 days. So
Dolphins Bills. Let's get a quick prediction on that, real quick. Dolphin Bills.
I got the Bills in a close one.
Okay, the Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. Amazing, a little high, I think.
Yeah, well, I'd say I'm going to say Miami by 1.
By 1. All right.
Fins 31-28.
Wow. Okay, I'll take that too. I don't have an opinion on the game. I'm just hoping we win. But I do think we got to watch Keon Coleman. I'm going to say Dolphins 27-24. Okay, because I got to say
you couldn't help yourself.
But Keon Coleman, I thought, I think this guy. I know he's a Florida State Seminole, but I think he's going to have a spectacular year with Josh Allen. Big, tall receiver and everything like that. Once they get to the pros, I'm first of all, he's on the wrong team at Buffalo. But speaking of Buffalo, Gregory Rousseau.
Oh my goodness!
What did he get? 3 sacks in a game?
3 sacks. Yep.
I mean, this past weekend was a huge, first week for Miami Hurricanes.
Oh,
yes.
Between Dave Russo's sack, Jalen Phillips, DJ Dallas return,
DJ Dallas.
Tyreek
Yes.
Stevenson interception. I mean, we were balling out this weekend.
Yeah.
NFLU.
We're doing their thing.
No, that was awesome. There was a time when I first started in the warehouse that Miami had a thing about 140 games in a row with a player scoring a touchdown. There was a record that was ongoing and still hard to believe. But we just, with all that stable of running backs we had in the NFL, it was like, and we had the tight ends we had and the wide receivers we had. We need to get back to there, guys. So hopefully Mario will lead us. So I want to say thank you for everybody to join us. Any last words? You guys are good? I
got a business opportunity. I'm going to say right here on the air.
Right.
I know the Cane fans are going to like it. And I got this idea just now from actually Cam Ward's girlfriend when she was sitting like 2 rows in front of me. And I noticed this thing. And you see him at all the games. But it's just something about Cam Ward where it just stands out even more. You got to get Cam Ward fat heads to where fans can literally bring him into the stadium.
It works
and
for me.
A huge Cam Ward fat head sign.
That's a great idea.
I had one at the game, and it looked clean and dope. So I think if you could do something with the family and to where you sell them for $7 to $10 at CanesWear, and you could bring them into the stadium, I think that would be a cool little thing.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cam Ward fatheads.
She's the one I'm making the jersey for. She said, Bret, can you make me this jersey? So I put her for 48. She's the one I'm making the jersey for. She wanted that jersey. So that was it. So that's good. I'll reach out there. I'll text her tomorrow and ask her and tell her.
To send you a picture of it. She should still have it. I saw it this past week and it was really nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna go see if we can put that together. That's a great idea. We're gonna do some things with we've done a lot with him and the Restrepo family. Great idea. Thank you. I'll go ahead and text her tomorrow. Armando, Cliff, you got any other ways we can make some money?
You guys are the best. I did something different this year because, Bret, I always call in before the season and make a big order. I get flags for the house and hats, shirts, shorts. Everybody gets new stuff in the house. I didn't do it this year. I didn't buy anything new this year, and I'm going to see if that works.
Listen, right now, we're not going to let you buy anything right now, okay? For now, I'm going to tell Jeff and the team, if Cliff tries to get an order, no, he is locked out.
Block his account now.
He's blocked. You know what? If we keep winning, I mean, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to wear all your old clothes, okay?
After the season, this is working fine for me now, and I've never done this in I don't know how many years. So
Canes win, Canes win, we all win. So, guys, thanks again, and we appreciate everybody coming on the show. Great time. There's a lot of football this weekend. Thursday. Everybody going to the game? Cliff, I know you're not. Mondo's going to be there or no?
I'll be watching.
Brad? All right.
No, I'll be at South Florida and VTech.
All right, cool. So, guys,
see you here.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. A great panel.
You guys are the best.
Bobby, thank you to FTSN. Thank
Mondo,
you.
You're my boy.
Sports Network, guys. Appreciate
Likewise.
it. Go Canes.
Go Canes, baby.
Later, homie.
Canes.